Hello, brother. Thank you. The time. Thank you for being here with me again. Um, we've been on a journey talking about meditation, its importance to society, and um, taking this above average because a lot of people have very little knowledge of these things, and very few people know how important it is to their day-to-day life and experiences. So we're taking it above average, and today we'll be looking at some very deep matters, Sanji, very deep matters about food and how meditation can literally transform one's life if they can focus a little bit more, right? So thank you again for joining, brother. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to join these discussions. And I'm doing good, brother. And thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I We need meditation every single day of our life this time,
Uh-huh.
and the matter of distraction is heavy, right? Um, the mobile phone or the Android phone that's supposed to be a blessing is now sometimes seeming like a curse. People can't concentrate for long. People can't do something for long, and we start hearing things like, "Oh, the attention span is reducing. Oh, you have to make things short." And it's, from my perspective, it's sort of like a reprogramming that is happening with YouTube shorts, Facebook shorts, and
Mhm.
TikTok and all that short. So people just go scrolling, scrolling, scrolling like zombies. And it's affecting the mind, it's affecting their ability to process. What do you have to say about that, brother?
Oh, yeah, it's a big thing that's happening now, brother. Like all around the world, all this digitalization. And it seems like it's going way faster than we thought. So it started with the mobile devices. Now everything is digitalized. So places like China, these countries, they are already doing it. So it has even more bigger impact than we thought. Also, yeah, distractions, these are a thing. But now it's turning to be more like even a tool of control. For example, like I saw children in China, like places, uh, just to enter the school, they do facial
Mm,
recognition. Huh?
mm,
And then for the canteen, when they go, they have facial recognition, and then from their parents, maybe the money is deducted. In some places, there are people just because of algorithm didn't take them like any other social media platform. The algorithm didn't accept what they were like their lifestyle. Now they have ended up
mhm,
on the streets. And then there was another
mm.
video I watched like uh, this is 2026, a brand new car. And then this lady was driving the car and the car suddenly stopped. Eh? And then she didn't know why, there was nothing seen because it's a new car, a 2026 car, no? And then on the dashboard, they had put like, we cannot see your eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like she
Okay.
had maybe like she was driving for a long time, maybe crouched down a bit. But she's saying it's not a safety mechanism because they knew like the gas was stepped on, even if it's auto gear. Well, it's not
Hmm.
like the person falls asleep. And then after she adjusted the posture, the car started working again. And then they have asked like, can we share these details to a third party? And she was like surprised, what is this third party? No, she could not ask, but she had said the option as no. And then she was like baffled or like really worried, like, what is this third party?
Mm.
So it's like creeping in a big way. So the thing is like when it's everything digitalized, like if they feel like we are not suitable or something, they can erase everything of us. So in some
Exactly.
in some places like the banking system, now in here also, they don't even give a passbook like before. They say like we are now just doing online banking or digital banking. So when the currency goes away, and say for some reason uh, they can just freeze your account or just wipe it off, you are finished. So like that, it's already happening. Then the digital ID is coming out in some places like UK and all. They have already brought it up. Then a 15-minute digitalized city, and the electric cars are also part of it. So if you are not supposed to go out of the boundary, the car won't work from there no more. And then these digital cities are supposed to like uh, tell you even what to eat. They'll say like you have to eat this thing today. You will get a message. This is what you have to eat. If you don't, they can just wipe you off. Then you can, and not only that, it's like a small, it's like a chicken coop in a way. You put it in this environment, and in some places they say like to go out of that city, you get a few days. But if you don't come back within that days, just like a country, no, you are charged maybe $90 per day. And to if you are outside of that city, to go into the city, you get a few days. If you overstay that stay, you will still be charged, or you might get a fee. And not only that, there won't be any guards or barriers or anything. They from your mobile, from your vehicle, they will monitor you, and they will deduct that money easily from the digital banks. So it's getting tighter. The net kind of like this been around. Like it started with the mobile. They can track everything what we are doing. Now, if you buy something, or like they'll see how the money came. What did you spend? If you spend it on buying a candy or a small thing, which is a few cents even, they can track that also. So in a way, they say digital, like physical currency is also a trouble. So coming back to all these things, yeah, it's going in a way that is not very healthy for us human beings. It says, okay, you can give everything. Now they are, now recently I saw in a war environment, they talk like it's a great thing. Yeah, they showed like I'm not mentioning the country or place. The first soldiers who surrendered to a robo, yeah? And the people who are very proud of it, and they say like now with a joystick, somebody human is controlling, and they want to make that robo uh, or the artificial intelligence make the decision. So now, like the drones, like this equipment also is controlled by somebody far away with a joystick or something, no? And they want to remove that and give more, and then only for very crucial decisions they are supposed to use humans. So they take like they talk about less human involvement or like less human casualties. But what if like Robo can decide and then suddenly takes me as an enemy and then starts shooting me or something, right? Or wrong, some data gone wrong, right? Or there's some virus or something that happens and then they just start demolishing things, right? It can happen,
Mm,
no? So there's a big, it's already coming up and they don't even care. They just put it out now. Like before, it was like happening little by little by little by little. It's like they laid a big net and now they're slowly drawing it in like catching fish. So all these were part of that. So I don't think these are healthy for a human. It's kind of way much
and
more serious than that.
yes, and you see, the thing is, people are constantly accepting these things without even questioning anything.
Exactly.
That is the problem. So something happens on my device right now because I buy things online. So the minute I click something online, the next thing I see, it's popping up everywhere. It's popping up
Mm.
everywhere on my any application I use. It's popping up everywhere. So you settle back and ask yourself, do we really have any sort of privacy? And if at this point in time things are going like this, what happens 10 years down the line? What happens 20 years down the line? What happens to our children, right? Do people have anywhere to hide when things go wrong? What if the government says, I don't want this, I don't want the people to do this? Do people still have democracy? Is that still a thing? What if the government just wakes up and say, you know what, I don't want this group of people, because it's already happening right now. We're not going to
Mm.
mention names, but it's happening when some people in power say, you know what, we want these people to be wiped out because they are
Mm.
bad to society because of how they feel. And it becomes troublesome, and you sit to think about it sometimes. Is there a way out for us human beings? Is there an option? Because the way things are being made every day, brother, it's difficult to go the other way around. It's
Mhm.
difficult. There's no place to hide anymore,
Sure.
right? You have to buy things, you have to make some sort of exchange, you have to connect with people, you have to communicate, you have to do your work, because almost all the work we do these days are being digitalized, right? You have to do your work, you have to serve clients, you have to earn money. So
Mm.
where is my question now is, where is the escape route? Where is the leeway? Where is the open source for people? What is the option? What options do we have as a people?
Yeah. So in a way, this had happened in the 1800s or early 1900s also. Eh? So they say like a whole generation of people just disappeared who knew the world before we knew. Like what we think like in the 1900s, all these big buildings, cathedrals, all these were made. But we just had horse-driven things, no? Carts and these kind of things in the beginning. But you can see old pictures, they don't build it, they kind of like excavate it. And there are still in countries like few floors down, buried still. Or they have brought it up, but there are like two floors down. And these are massive buildings with big bells or like specific shapes and domes. So they had so much technology, but it says like a whole generation they ask why they made so many asylums those days. Some certain time, there was a huge buildup of asylums. They were massive, and like huge buildings were allocated for asylums, and they say they took off a whole generation. And just like ethnic cleansing, the children of those were trained and put into trains and taken into schools, which kind of like rehabilitation, they said. Uh, but they were given new identity, so they were parentless children. Uh, so, so for example, coming back here, I'm just taking example. Anybody can investigate. There are so much data about it. Sorry, just see. No, we are not trying to make a problem or anything. Uh, there are things coming up now. And then where did all this? What about the technology? What about the pyramids? What about these pagodas? Who made them? They were just found, right? And we now this generation doesn't have a clue who did it even, how they did
Mm,
it. Huh? So it's like they not that they made it, it's like they found it only. Huh? So what about those people, no? And then what comes, brother? Like especially the kids, the schooling system. Huh? When they are seeing that monitoring every activity they do, huh, is a normal thing. They build up a whole new generation. The next generation will be more. The next gen because,
mm,
but for example, the people born in the 90s or before, huh, they have seen either side of it, right? They have seen the simple things that like maybe normal phones or how they used to carry the letters and go, how they used to use tools and work. Yeah? And still they are existing, right? And they saw
yeah.
how this digitalization also happened, AI and all these things. So these people know. But what about the next generation? Oh, especially the very young generation. So in a way, these some powerful people paid and made the schooling system in a way of making workers as well as a obedience system. You go 8 hours, and usually now they do research, and from the modern system they find, for example, a child is very uh, how to say adventurous when they are small. And they have seen like the amount of questions they ask, but when they pass like some grades of the school, they don't even ask questions no more. You cannot ask why, even what is this. Maybe you will be punished for asking or trying to be too smart. You just follow the curriculum, they say. But we can ask, right? Like you said, like just blindfoldedly we accept. So then the people who investigate and all will be a nuisance for the system. Huh?
mm,
No, right? No, like chickens or something who are trying to jump off the pen. They are a trouble for them, right? So coming back to one thing with the question you asked, brother. One thing is some people go very far away, where they have no use to these systems. Very far away. Now itself they are going and living, trying to live like, for example, when this COVID thing was supposedly happening, some people in the very far away places, they were not affected, or they were mentioned as primitive. But they didn't have to get their vaccinations or anything, and people are laughing. But people in the cities were the one who were trapped actually. The people far away, they live their lives, no? So in a way, we can, if we can find, but still there will be rules as such. And some people even predict, even if you start growing your own food, that can become like a crime later in the future, because you have to take
mm.
specific foods. They are already making those kind of foods even. Really, like I don't know what extent they are trying to take it. Another thing is like, I nobody can steal if you make your mind powerful. Even physically, if you have to do such things. But what if like they make vaccinations mandatory and say like send you a message on your mobile saying that you have to take these vaccines, maybe one every month. And then if you don't comply, they can just wipe off or they charge from your bank account, penalize you, right? Because they have it, no? And this, because then if you cannot support your family or something, what can you do, right?
You go take it. You go take
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, and then, or like they can just wipe you off. Then you cannot stay in that place. You cannot, maybe the housing or anything like that. Yeah, and then you just dump in this, get dumped in the streets or somewhere, and that's the end of that, no? So I'm not making stories up. It had already happened also for some people. Huh? So one thing is if you can try to go far as possible in a way. But if you know everybody cannot do that also, no? So at least if we can keep our mind strong and healthy, but if we are put into that kind of tight situation, it's not an easy thing also as such, no?
Mm.
Because if we are put those regulations and then they say like you have to do this, like those times they say like if you don't do it, you cannot go to specific places, you cannot travel abroad. Uh, they put all the restrictions right now. Nobody talks of them, no? And then if they bring impose these kind of things, huh? So these digital cities or like what do they call it? They have some specific name for that.
Metaverse? Is it the metaverse?
Yeah, some cities like it's like a 15-kilometer range, and
Okay.
UK
I'll
already
have to.
started it. Oh, UK already started it, and what if like they put us there and then like say like okay, this is how it goes, right? So then, like we will be like prisoners, uh, kept in that particular. It will be like a chicken coop, no?
Mm.
You have to eat their food, what they are giving, do what they say. So. At least if we can, if you are really caught up in that kind of, not to panic or anything, I'm just telling, no. Uh, but keep your eyes open, no. And so then how to say, we can at least try to keep our mind healthy, happy, even peaceful, making big, building up a strong mind, because nobody can steal that unless you bring it into your minds, no. Not to be
Mm,
afraid and freak out now, but be aware of the situation. So one is like, if you can just go as far as possible, no, and then start a life as such in a very simplistic manner. Because if you already don't have anything, what are they going to take, right?
mm,
Or if you don't use hi-fi tech or anything, or if you are, it's not based on that basis, it's like they cannot take it from you. What is there to take, no?
mhm,
Otherwise, like, yeah, for now, definitely still there are options and openings. So we can like reduce the usage or use the most essential things for things, because we are just wasting time, it seems. The scrolling and all these things, and it's making us more and more blunt. And we definitely focus on artificial intelligence rather than our own human intelligence, no?
intelligence.
The
Yeah.
word itself is very ironic, right? It says, it speaks for itself, no? Artificial intelligence, right? So it's better to like, how to say, enhance our minds and make it strong and powerful as much as possible, and keep the ancient values still alive,
Mm.
the valuable things, and pass it on to new generations.
Yeah, and come to think of it, I was asking myself. I said, do we still really have freedom, truly? And like I said, in the next 10 years, will we have freedom? And then, if we will have freedom in the next 10 years, what would freedom look like? Would freedom be an idea, or would it be true freedom? True freedom means you have a say. An idea of freedom means you are told what to do and you think you are the one who
Mm,
is doing it, right? So there is the game of the puppet and the puppeteer, right? You think you are the one in control, but you're just a puppet to some puppeteers. And we look at that and we say, how do I then gain freedom? Because there is a very high amount of um, there's a very high amount of materialism, needing to get lots of things. So that this high amount of materialism, or we call it um, adjusting to technology, we call it adjusting to whatever the case may be, but I call it a very high amount of materialism. So we are going more external than we are internal, and
mm,
because of that, even when we are deep puppets, we don't know. It's one thing to be a puppet and know, okay, I am a puppet, but let me do something about that. Let me own
mm,
my space. And then it's a terrible thing when you are, oh, one's a puppet and doesn't know and think they're in control. Because I think I was watching a movie, and in the movie, a
mhm,
comment was made by someone who was in government as the movie goes, right? And he said the people do not really have, they don't know what freedom truly is. They don't know what independence is.
mm,
He said they think they know what independence is, but they cannot handle independence, right? He said you give them independence, you create a chaotic society. And
mhm,
then you look back a little bit and you say, is it really true? Because the way people behave sometimes, Sanji, you look at people and you're like, why behave like this? This is
mhm,
not normal. A normal human being who is sane should not behave like this. You go on social media, you see things that is happening. You come back sometimes and you say, am I still on planet Earth, or are these people from a
mhm.
different planet entirely? Because you have to be an alien to do some things that these people do. So you say, what is really going on, right? And that level of societal, cultural adjustment, you come back and you ask yourself, how do I build a family? How do I build myself? How do I build my internal components to ensure that I am not the puppet who is controlled by a puppeteer and feel like I am in control? How do we do this? And one of the things I think can really greatly help is meditation. How do
Mhm.
we meditate our way into this level of self awareness
Mhm.
where we use things, but we don't become the things we use? We use things, we become the master of the things we use to do our daily job. The mobile device is a tool,
Mhm.
the work is a tool, social media and internet is a tool. It no longer is our master. How do we get to that place? What do we need to do first? What kind of mindset do we need to have? And the next thing is, what practices do we need to keep doing to sustain that kind of a mindset? Because whether we like it or not, we are already there, where puppeteers are controlling puppets every day. People
Mhm.
controlling the narratives, and you think it's a narrative. People controlling
Sure.
culture, telling you how to live, how to behave. Now, there's this new thing that is coming up where you don't have to buy a property. A group of people came out, we're not going to mention names, but a group of people came out and say, you don't need to buy anything, you don't need to own land, you don't need to have anything. You just have money, you pay for the land, you pay for the apartment, we have everything,
Mhm.
both your clothes, the apartment is furnished, you don't need to own anything. And a lot of people are buying into that ideology. So
Mhm.
50 years down the line, who's going to be in control of everything if you
Mhm.
don't need to be able to control a little, just those little basic things that nature has given you, like a land? Nature has given
Mhm.
you, but when a group of people takes control, so you begin to ask also, why do people not question these things? And I think it's because they're not self-aware enough to know that there's problem, this thing
Mhm.
isn't right. So how do we come to that level of self-awareness?
Brother, there were some experiments back in the day. Maybe this will be like good signs of material also. So they put some monkeys in a cage, a big like a enclosure, and they kept a ladder, and then they hung a bunch of bananas on top. So usually the monkeys would try to grab it no as soon as possible. So they were trying to come. Soon as they reach almost the top, like water, like a shower would open, and all the monkeys would get wet, the whole thing. But they still kept on trying. As soon as they reach it, like there was a big downpour of water, and they came back. So later, like they became more and more hesitant, it seems. Huh? Then, when one was trying, the others would beat that one up because they didn't want to get wet. So then, what they did was they brought new monkeys. Uh, And then the older gang, when the new ones saw the bananas, they tried to get it. The older ones got together and started beating the new ones. Huh? Then they replaced new monkeys more and more. New generations, no, like new groups. Then after that, like for some reason, nobody tried to reach for the bananas. Huh? Nobody. And they all just, it was just there, the ladder was there, all the monkeys were down there. They had done an experiment with fleas. The fleas can jump, no? So they kept them in a space that is more below than what they can usually jump. These are fleas, no? Yeah. And then after that, when they removed that cover, they still were jumping that height only. So you can condition people's minds. That's what they're doing through advertisements, all this. And then generation wise, it can be conditioned all through social media, all this huge downpour. It's a conditioning. Then we think this is the reality of things. So coming back to what you asked, brother, like the real like focus, as we were discussing today, the real focus. For example, there's a beautiful saying: when the attention goes, the energy follows.
Yes.
Whichever attention goes, the whole energy starts flowing towards that direction. It could be right, it could be wrong. So if we can conduct this focus, like you focus a camera, you know, you focus it, right? And make the image clear, right? So anything, no focusing. So likewise, this mindfulness, or yeah, if we can use like wholesome methods, and then implement those in day-to-day life, uh, then we can find something beyond this, because at some point I think this will be too much even for a normal. Even if you look at a device for some time, the eyes hurt and it's like tiring.
mm,
And some people,
mm,
when they look at the mobile device for some time, they cannot sleep even. Huh. They say like keep it away for before even 1 hour before. We think like we can, when you look at it or you listen to some music or some nice thing, and you nicely fall asleep. But no, people cannot sleep, no, because of this. So if we can like see the reality of these things, because real focus or real attention or mindfulness awakens the reality of things. And more we are
mm,
inclined towards the reality, we'll see like this is not even true. Or these actors and actresses, or maybe paid for, right? This is not real. Then, and surely we are not living that life, no? Whichever they, how to say, proclaim or like they try to construct. It's not there, no? For example, like this rap culture, you see all these people like gangsters and lot of girls, maybe a bunch of like tough men, no, or with sometimes maybe weapons, with all the gold and flashy cars. But if you see, dig into the story behind this, it's a way different story of reality. Anything like, even for example, we were talking about pornography and things, right? When you see like
mm,
what's happening really in the industry and the sad stories they put out, some of them, huh? It's not like the nice things people imagine it is. Huh?
mm,
So likewise in these things, like if we put real awareness of it, or focus or mindfulness, so we can implement so many things just by looking at a candle, the breath. Even some people use some object of focus. Then what happens is, Simon, our mind power is very powerful. Just if we example, it's like the sunlight. It's vast, it's very powerful. But as usual, we don't take all the use out of it. The sun, maybe we dry some clothes, or some other person, we don't even do that. No, maybe some food type, they dry it. Huh? Yes, the crops and but we are not doing that even, right? So if you even take a small magnifying glass and if you place it there, uh, what happens is that focuses that light or that energy. And then from there on, you can, it's something starts happening when it's more focused, no? Then if you increase that tool you are using, a bigger magnifying glass or bigger tool or focus, then you can do bigger things. So likewise, what we do, we use our own mind and to focus on particular objects which is wholesome. Huh? And then what happens with the usage of that can happen. It can happen in mental energy also, as such, because our mind has so much capacity, so much potential, so much ability. We don't have to degrade ourselves like what is happening now.
and that begins to bring a thought of, do we want to really be in charge? Do people still really want to become self-aware? Because when you look at the way people are going, sometimes it just feels like they are okay being where they are. People just like to be told things to do. People no longer have philosophies of their own. They no longer have values or principles of their own. It's just like borrowed value, because some person who's on social media, big time on social media, picks it up and says it's true, then it's true. something is currently happening here in Nigeria, right? And what's happening? We Something happened with an artist who, um, I think he had something with someone's wife, and you see people supporting him to say, "Oh, he didn't do wrong. He didn't get wrong. Sorry about that. He
Mhm.
didn't do wrong. He didn't get anything." Please, can you pause the recording? There was some
Yes, sorry.
noise in my
Okay.
background.
Hold on, please.
All right. So, and you see people supporting this because it's popular and say, "Oh, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong." But that was a pure case of adultery, and it's not about stoning somebody to death or anything, but
Mm,
it's a matter of moral value. And you want to ask, if we give power to such sets of people, what happens? They will be the end of themselves. So you come back and say, the people who are trying to control people, are they wrong? Because the way people are behaving, sometimes you want to question their actions. But at the end of the day, I think everybody has right to their own self-awareness. And if you are
mm,
self-aware and you act from a place of self-awareness, just maybe it will be better. But whichever the case is, we want to give the people who will be interested in self awareness an opportunity to enter it and then make their decisions from a place of self awareness. For the people who wouldn't, we can do much for them, right? You can't force a horse to the river and force it to drink water at the same time,
mm,
right? You just make the materials available for them. You make the process available for them to be able to pick up and say, you know what, I think this is a path that I want to choose, I want to run with. So, my question to you, brother, if we are to start our journey on self awareness, where do we start from?
uh-huh. So coming back to what you said, you can see back in the days when colonizers came, they gave free liquor, uh, alcohol. So then what happens is people started drinking, they got addicted, and they just sometimes they work for the day. They think like they have nothing else to think about. They get drunk, and then uh, they work the day, and they everything other things collapse, and they cannot even think properly. So through all these things, also in a way, if you look properly, it's not they are giving away alcohol. You have to buy it, no, in a big price now, but they just give for free those days, no. And this feeding really drowns you or drains you, like kind of like intoxicates you. It's too much data, no, that just comes pumps in, so you have no space to think of another thing. You just accept and think that's the social norm, right? This is the normal thing. So what about the children? They definitely think it's such, no? So where to start is like, if we can figure out, for example, the ancient questions: why are we here? What is the purpose here? We had a nice discussion also with another gentleman from Europe, and we were thinking like, if human life is not valuable no more, and send some other machine or something, but that will be the time like people will think like, what is the purpose, no? Why am I here even? What should I do? So in a way, it shifts back to the ancient questions like, why are we here? No, for example, like people think, why did God send me here? No, Huh, what is my purpose on this lifespan? So in a way, if you see it, like people might reflect again because they feel worthless, no? If everything machines is doing, then you have like almost jobless or something like that. Then it can, luckily, unless they become self-destructive, uh, they because everybody has that potential, no? The wisdom is within. They have that. It can be covered up by all these things, layers upon layers. But at some point, the eyes open. Huh? More and more people actually waking up in a way. They see it because it's the the nets are closing in. Huh? Then people like a fish, no, it's a bad example to say, but you see, with the more the net is, you see them trying to escape it more. Uh, it happens, right? Before maybe they thought they could swim around, but slowly when they are pulling it in, you see them like trying to really escape, no? Uh, so likewise, the wise or everybody has this wisdom, they can start saying, what is the purpose? Why am I here? What can I do if I have more time and somebody else is doing things? At least it can be poor or anything, the conditions can be really low. Uh, But there will be some people who don't want to self-destruct themselves, no?
mm,
Just waste the time and see I can do something more. And if we believe in past lives and all, that connection also comes. So if we see like what is the important, because there should be a place, like you said, where we can start, no? So if everything is given outwards and for something artificial even, then we think like, what is my authentic self?
yeah.
Why? What is my purpose here? No, what is even if any kind of faith they have, or if they think like we are born here, why are we born here? Or if God sent us, like why did we come here, right? Anyway, according to any faith or belief they have, but still they can reflect and see. Then the wise will see like, okay, like this is everything is happening, it's out of my control also. Then I should at least do something for myself.
Mm,
So then the inward journey can begin. Nobody can steal that unless you are so influenced by it, huh? And you are drained by it and you're drowsed by the things that are happening. You can make a wise inward journey at any age, any time. Even children or youngsters can do this.
So here's the thought: if we are going to start from meditation, okay,
Uh-huh.
what kind of meditation are we looking to start? What's the basic for someone who says, "Oh, you know what? I have no idea how this thing goes. I have no idea how this thing is done, but I
Uh-huh.
want to get started, right? I want to start from somewhere. Where do we start from?"
Uh-huh. The easiest method is the breath because we always have it. No, sometimes we might not have the external tools as such
Mhm.
to practice. Some meditations they need some object, external object. But for the easiest one is because breath always happens, no? Hopefully, no? Like it's always almost there, no? So you can easily use this is a great tool for focusing or attention,
Mm,
the right
mm,
attention. Or we can use something, but we have to be careful. Even a candle flame, something like that, an object to put your attention and let it rest there. At first, we are so caught up in like jumping here, it's called the monkey mind. Huh?
mm,
But we have this ability. We have this ability in deep spiritual practices and ancient method. This is called one pointedness, or oneness. So actually, when we are doing when we say we are focused, when you're writing something, that attention span comes. So actually, degrading ourselves, the attention span reducing is actually a waste of our energy. Actually, it's a the how to say the we are degrading ourselves. Yeah. So if we can focus more, you can see like people who have more attention and all, they seem more productive. The errors are less, and even in their life, they are like more calm, more settled. And actually, people who think like they do multitasking, sometimes you can see they're just jumping from one to another.
mm,
First, it was considered as a big thing. Maybe the other person seems boring or is putting for much attention. He doesn't hear what you say and all. But you can see the people who so-called multitaskers. they are so like agitated, or like they are so, and even in their life, you see them like with a lot of tension, stress. But some people like they are focused in the same office maybe, and they feel boring, nothing interesting, like they are very so caught up, seem serious, but they do a very nice job of it, and they seem very calm, more solid.
mm,
And who cares what the world thinks, right? No, you don't have to be superhero and try to have like 10 hands and do all things, no? So, like coming back, yeah, we can use any object that brings our attention. Some people like to place a dot on the wall and focus on that and see. So, our ability is there. That's why when we are eating, also we can focus. Otherwise, soon as we bite our own tongue, or like something happens, or we like try to talk and then it goes down the wrong pipe. So there is attention, but we had to upgrade it, and now it's making worse because it drives attention all over the place. Like even scrolling, we change so fast, and sometimes we
mm,
you can see like not because we want, we just want to scroll like something else, something else, something else, something else. So this whole changing, no, always. So the monkey mind goes so wild; it's not satisfied with what you see, and you are
mm,
sometimes impatient even to like see the end of it. You just scroll it and then you jump to the next one, thinking like there was an ancient master who said like we are like people who eat red hot chili peppers. We are like
mm,
the secretions are coming, we are like crying, the face is like red hot, and we are eating them thinking like the next chili will be sweet. And still we keep on eating. We don't know this is burning us. The sweat, the secretions are coming. The tears are falling. And we just eat. This was said like long time ago. Huh? Like Khalid Gibran, those times, like philosophers when they used to say. Huh?
mm.
So, but we are doing even worse now. We are like
Yeah,
munching on it so
we
fast, thinking the next one will be better. Next one will be better. So no satisfaction, nothing. So if we focus on small things, some object of focus, even things like a flower, or you can, there are like some specific meditations you draw, take a circle of a particular color, like blue, red, white, yellow, and you focus on that. Or those days, they used to light a lamp or a candle inside a vessel and see the circle in that and take that as the object. Maybe those things are a bit too, or you look at a basin full of water or a bowl full of water because it's circular, uh, and you can select from a glass one or a stainless steel one, and which your eyes are more comfortable, and you can focus on that. And with opened eyes and closed eyes, open eyes, and you try to take the object. But the easiest of all is the breath. But still you can use like if you some religious verses, prayers, because if you pray, uh, your mind is in that pattern, no? And you're focusing on that. So those are also affirmations, these kind of things are also ways of focus, but you can easily take even more simpler things and do. For example, the breath or verses like loving kindness verses or anything like that. So all brings comes to this focal point.
okay. And if I want to get started, can you take me through some certain level of meditation that I can start? Something I can do 5 minutes every day. Like you said in the last session, that's the minimum. 5 minutes every day. It's not too much. Or 10 minutes every day as I have time. Take us through some kind of meditation for someone out there who's listening and saying, "Oh, I want to know how to get started with this thing. Where do I
Mm.
start? I'm dwindling in my focus. My mind seems to be disintegrating into different parts, but I want to focus. I want to gain hold of my focus." Take us through that.
Okay, so then you sit comfortably and try to keep your body in the most comfortable position. So all this relates to focus. Okay, so you'll have like huge amount of steps regarding
Mm.
that. So you take a few deep breaths, focus on the breath, intentional breaths, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in from the nostrils, breathing out from the mouth, breathing in from the nostrils, breathing out from the mouth, and just try to loosen up. Now take your attention or focus as far as possible, as far as possible, out of your house, if in the streets, anything. It could be a sound, anything your attention or focus falls upon, focus on that. If it was raining, if it's a wind is blowing, doesn't matter, even if it's vehicle sound, animals, better, even children, humans, like adults, I mean, doesn't matter. Don't take it as a obstacle. Just focus on that. And that is also a level of focus you can use when you go to the oceans, near a river, near a forest. You can use that as a focal point. There's nothing wrong with that. Then you slowly bring it more closer, maybe around you in your room where you are now. Just see what takes your attention and focus on one particular sound or the presence. Just being there, even that can be a focal point. Then slowly move to your region like your skin layer. That is also, there's a different meditation using the wind. It's possible. And if there's wind blowing, just feel it touching against your skin, maybe face, neck, open areas. Focus on something. You can take your whole body as one and focus on the entire body even. Or focus on the sensations on a particular area of the body or the entire body itself. Even if it's hot, that is also experience. Don't try to judge it as good or bad. You can use that. Anything pressure or like pleasurable, subtle, vibrative, anything. Just see. Or you can focus on a particular area of the body. That is also a focal point. Then you can focus on the breath, the in breath and the out breath. That is also a focal point. Just do it in a very casual way. Then you can dive deep in to the body, maybe the heart region, and focus. You can scan from head to feet if you want and see what kind of sensations you are feeling or experiencing. Or all body as one, what kind of from inside. You can use some particular words if you want. For example, like in loving kindness, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be peaceful, or I'm grounded, I'm safe, I'm focused. You can use those kind of affirmations. to keep a positive. You can see what kind of emotions are happening. You can focus on that. Don't judge them as good or bad. Just be the not even the observer, just the observation. You can focus on that. Or you can watch the thoughts itself. Focus on the thoughts as they come and go. So you can start from far away, slowly bringing in until the moment of sensations, thought process, thoughts, all the way. And you can incorporate different meditations. Each of these methods are really helpful. Even awareness of your activities, movements of the body, that's also focus and awareness. So all things can be used. So you can select one and focus them on them more. But in anybody, in any situation, any place, easily can implement any of these. So to finish our meditation, just think, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings be peaceful. May all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings be peaceful. May all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings be peaceful, may all beings have focus, may all beings see reality, may all beings seek freedom without conflict, without pain, without suffering, and real intellectual, real spiritual, real inward peace, happiness, experience that nobody can take it away from them. And with that, you can slowly open your eyes. So, brother, you can use any from far away. There are so many. You can use anything as a tool, a positive one. But you have to consistently use that, like sharpening a
mm,
knife. Huh?
mm,
So when you sharpen it, you focus and you do, that brings the edge. That can penetrate, even if the blade is thin, that can penetrate anything, that's covering. Usually it's possible.
mm.
And this what we are covering is very fragile. And we try to put layers upon layers, but they are like rags. So easily a sharp blade can penetrate through those. Wisdom is as such. Intuition, awareness, mindfulness. They're so powerful. That can bring the real nature of ours, the real possibilities, the real capabilities of the human.
Thank you so much, brother.
Mm. It's very
May
simple
all
if people
beings
are doing, no?
exactly.
Mm.
I feel a lot more grounded from this meditation practice. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings attain focus. May they attain awareness. It's sending positive energy amidst all the negative energy in the
Mm.
society, and we need more of this. We need more of the positives, because you wake up and there is a bombing here, and there is a kidnapping there, and there is a divorce here, and there's a fighting there, and there's a gang thing here. It's just chaos. A little
Mm.
good energy, a little positive energy is needed in this society. So, thank you so much, brother. We'll have the next session. From the next one, we start going really deeply grounded,
Yeah.
and we could look at having some guests, external guests come in, right?
Mm.
We could also look at hosting some other people in. Let's have a three people conversation where we go deep on some matters, and believe it will take it to the next level. Do some
Sure.
ads about it. Thank you so much, brother.
Oh,
It
you're
was
welcome,
wonderful having
brother. Have a good
you. All right.
evening and a good rest also. Eh?
All right. And
We'll
you too,
talk to you
brother.
soon.
You too. Okay, brother.